Welcome to LECOM Health Matters. Our guest today is Lauren Zemanek, the Operations Manager of LECOM Health and Wellness Fitness Center. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
I read somewhere, and I got a lot of different numbers on this, that over the holidays, Americans somewhere put on between 1 and 5 pounds, but the actual number is probably closer to 2. Regardless, we all eat too much.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself.
We all eat too much. So as we get into the new year, what are some things people should do to knock off some of those pounds? And since it's winter, to keep themselves in reasonably good shape. So when spring comes, we can go back outside again and resume all those good spring activities that we can do. But let's start with weight loss. What should we do to get ourselves so we don't have to get it back to one less notch on the belt, I guess I could probably say.
So someone like myself, just keeping very active is super important. Even if you're just kind of starting out, you have no experience with exercise and fitness, even walking, as simple as that, is a great way to shed the pounds. Keeping your routine is super important, being consistent with what you're doing. The American College of Sports Medicine recommends 30 minutes of exercise per day, 150 minutes per week. So that would be a good way to start if you're just starting out. New Year's resolutions are coming about now with January hitting. So a lot of those people are getting back into those fitness routines.
Let me stop you there. When you say the Academy recommends 30 minutes a day of exercise. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, when we say exercise, it depends upon the person. Let's take somebody in their 50s. Mm-hmm. What for them is exercise? Because it's going to be different from somebody like you who's in great shape, or myself, which is not in great shape, but you. Exercise for them is going to be different. Somebody in their mid-50s, 60s who wants to really knock off some of that weight and really get themselves in better shape. If they're going to run 5 miles, which I know the answer to that is probably no, but what kinds of exercise stuff should they do for those 30 minutes?
So if we get into the technicality of things, so there is a distinct difference. So we have physical activity and we have exercise. So physical activity is anything that gets your body moving. It's skeletal movement. It could be as simple as doing the dishes around the house, laundry, the simple things like that. Exercise, it becomes exercise when we put a goal, a time limit on it, anything like that. So it would become exercise if we say, for example, walking a mile. That there's a goal behind it, there might be a time limit behind it. Mm-hmm. Whereas physical activity is more just the everyday type things that we might not even consider to be keeping us moving or helping us shed those pounds, but it truly is, especially for that older population.
Sure, and for that population, you're recommending not just physical activity. Those are the things that we do during the course of the normal day. Mm-hmm. Washing the dishes, cleaning up, going to work, going shopping. But you're talking about some type of physical exercise where there's a goal.
Correct.
And one of those things, obviously, is walking.
Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
Which clearly everybody can do. There are lots of opportunities to do that. I know I got into the habit years ago of parking in the back of a parking lot.
That's a great way to start.
And walking to Wegmans, so walking to Giant Eagle or to Tops. I have to get all three in to make sure we don't offend anybody, or Bellows, to make sure we cover all of our bases. But that and walking up and down the aisles, that's an easy thing to do, mm-hmm. and it's so easy to dismiss not doing.
Right, and another one is taking the stairs versus taking the elevator. Well, we take elevators for granted, even if it's just one flight, one floor, just take the stairs.
And you're talking 30 minutes of that kind of exercise. What other things could possibly people do that are very simple for them to do? It doesn't require going to a gym, getting all dressed up and going, that they can do in the course of the normal day.
So yeah, if you've got younger kids at home, maybe kids, grandkids, maybe attending their sports events. Another good one is if you have a desk job, maybe just taking 5 minutes to just stand up out of your desk chair and either walk around, or there's different chair exercises out there that you could do, chair squats. Anything like that is really good, and we take it for granted. We don't realize that we could do these things. They're super simple and can incorporate it into any type of.
And these are all available on the web. Just simply go to the web, you'll find lots of different kind of exercises that people can do to get their 30 minutes a day. And how many minutes a week did you say?
So 30 minutes a day equates to about 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercise. So we do want our heart rate to get about 50 to 60% of our maximal heart rate is what the goal would be.
Help me understand, when you say that, I have to get to that 50, 60% to make some type of dent in weight, right?
Yes, yeah. And you also want to kind of plan it where you're progressing. So maybe you have like a baseline of where you're starting, but then there might be a point where you get kind of used to that intensity and you maybe need to bump it up a little bit to try and see those benefits.
But these are easy things for people to do at home. They don't have to get dressed up and go to a gym.
No.
I mean, they can do that, or they can go to, obviously, simply for a walk. But those simple chair exercises, squats and sit-ups, they all qualify in that 30 minutes that we should do so that we can, in a sense, drop some of the cookie weight.
Yeah, you don't need any special type of equipment. I mean, there is certainly a ton of equipment out there, but it's not necessary.
How about water intake? I hear a lot about this. That I'm a migraine headache sufferer. My doctor tells me you have to drink more water, and I am terrible at it. That's an important part of this weight loss thing, too, is it not? That we consume enough water and fluids?
Diet and hydration.
Diet and hydration. What kind of diet would you recommend to people who are considering trying to knock a few off?
So as we know, I mean, there's a ton of what they call fad diets out there that obviously the media portrays, that maybe different celebrities are getting into or saying this is the best thing out there for weight loss. But if we really get down into the science of it, a Mediterranean diet, which is basically just eating the rainbow, your fruits and vegetables, limiting your dairy intake to just pretty much baseline. You don't need any significant amounts of dairy and cheese, but getting those fruits and vegetables in, incorporating the meats. The carbs is, I know carbs can be, sometimes they put out the keto diet and they're like, oh, we need to limit the carbs for weight loss. It's not always the case.
We don't have to limit the carbs?
No.
Oh, thank God for small miracles.
I know. Yeah.
Because I thought the limit was 2,000 or something like that for the average person. So
they recommend 2,000 calories standard that you should be intaking per day. That doesn't take into effect age, your activity level. I mean, if you're more active, if you're an athlete, you're probably going to need to consume more than 2,000 calories. If you're more sedentary or your lifestyle doesn't necessarily reflect a super active one, you might be intaking less. It depends on the individual.
Why do you think people are so hesitant to get into exercise and diet programs? Or when they get in, they quit after the first 2 weeks? Truly,
they either don't know what they're doing and they're afraid to ask for help, or they just say, I don't have time for this. This is just not what I was thinking. It's not fitting into my schedule. So those are the two biggest things that I see.
But I think the thing we said earlier about exercise fitting into your schedule, it's really easy to do.
Yeah.
As you said earlier.
You don't need to block that time out necessarily.
Yeah, you don't have to block that time out. You can walk up and down two or three flights of steps at your particular place of work. You can park in the back of a parking lot as opposed to driving around. I see people drive around for 10 minutes.
Until something comes up.
Something comes up. I mean, I've seen them do that, and I hate to admit, when I go to the donut shop in the morning, which I probably shouldn't do, but when I do, I'm amazed that I see this long line of cars waiting for the pickup, and there's nobody there. You just walk in, get out of your car, walk in, and you're out before they even moved an inch.
Yeah, drive-through versus walking in and I do that with my coffee. Instead of sitting in the drive-through for 20 minutes, I actually park my car, walk in the store.
I've never understood that.
Yeah.
You see this long line of, even when the weather's nice, you see this long line of people when you can just pull right in and go. Is there a relationship? We talked about exercise, we talked about diet as a way to lose a little bit of weight, and obviously to tone ourselves up. Is there a relationship between exercise and stress reduction?
Oh, absolutely. Stress reduction, exercise is a great way to reduce that. Obviously, with the holidays kind of coming to a close, a lot of people have spent a lot of time with family, and there might just be that post-holiday stress maybe with Christmas and everything that comes with it, and exercise is just great for reducing those levels of stress and intense emotions that might be coming from.
Why is that?
A lot of people, again, it stems from maybe too much time with family. You might say, oh, I've seen these people way too long, it's time to kind of decompress. they might be a little bit anxious to get back to a normal routine. I know, like myself, I took some time off during the holiday season, and you come back and you're like, oh my goodness, it hits you like a brick. You're just back to normalcy and trying to get back in that normal schedule.
But why does exercise specifically reduce stress? Is it a biochemical reaction within the body?
Yeah, I mean, so anytime you're exercising, you have chemical reactions in your brain and throughout your body that it just makes you feel good. Mm-hmm. And that's great for many reasons. It's good physically, it's good mentally, spiritually.
Sure. So that exercise that we're suggesting that people do actually helps them in terms of their weight management and in terms of their stress management.
Mm-hmm. It's a spiral effect. It affects everything.
But people are so hesitant. They're so hesitant to want to take care of themselves that I think the more of these things that we can do to suggest to people, this is not a difficult thing to do. Mm-hmm. Simple exercise really has a lot to do with one's overall well-being. I think it has a lot to do with people's moods.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, how they interact one with another, how they dump a little bit of stress, and the good byproduct of that is they may put themselves in better shape.
Yeah.
They drink more fluids, they keep themselves well, they keep themselves healthy.
Exactly.
What would you say to people who simply say, oh, there's nothing to do with it, I don't believe any of that?
Well, that's what people like us are for. We have so many professionals out there, exercise physiologists, even doctors who, some people that kind of feel that way just don't necessarily take that information in and believe them. It's just, there might be a switch in their brain, and we just got to say, hey, this is how things are, and getting exercise and having a good diet and drinking enough water, it is good for you, and there's so many benefits behind it.
I'll take you back to the beginning. When we said people are starting out, it's a post-holiday, they want to get themselves back in shape, they want to, in a sense, get their mood back in a better state of homeostasis and balance. Mm-hmm. When it comes to exercise, I wanted to ask this earlier but forgot. How do I know if I'm overdoing it?
There are definitely a couple different signs of that. So if you're kind of feeling a little bit fatigued, I mean, obviously when you're exercising, there's some level of fatigue there. But if you're at a point where maybe you're feeling pain in your chest, any other physical pain, maybe upper and lower extremities, feeling like you're faint, things like that are definitely signs you should probably stop exercise and maybe see a healthcare provider and see if there may be something going on. But just listening to your body. Mm-hmm. There's obviously that uncomfortable push that we do when we exercise. That's how we get better. But there's also a point where too much is too much and it can be harmful.
How about if I decided, and I do this, if I decided to go for a 2-mile walk this afternoon after work, and in the morning I felt really, really sore. Mm-hmm. That's a fairly normal reaction, isn't it?
Yeah, being sore is normal, especially if you're getting into a new routine, if you're completely new to exercise and maybe you get your first workout in and you're like, oof, you're feeling it the next second or third day even afterwards. It's normal. Just kind of take it easy.
Take a day off.
Yeah, take a day off, absolutely. There's even the best athletes out there are taking breaks, so don't feel like you need to push it or overdo it or anything like that.
But as you said, listening to your body. Yep. Your body will tell you. If it's sore, you can work through that. Mm-hmm. But if it's painful...
Yeah, there's a difference between being sore and being painful.
There is indeed a difference between being painful and being sore.
Some people don't quite understand what that threshold is, but again, your body should be telling you when enough is enough.
But as you said, you have to listen to your body to understand it. You have to listen to your body to understand when I just started this routine, I should take a day off, or I overdid it the other day, and it's good. It's not bad for me to take a day off. I've heard people say that when they get into walking and running, they feel guilty if they take a day off.
Yeah, but it's good for you. Even if you just take the day off from walking and running and you do maybe something in its place like stretching, yoga, or even just if you need to take a day to just sit on the couch and be lazy, I mean, that's fine too. I mean, no one's stopping you from doing that.
And that's part of the process.
Yes. Yep.
That's part of the process. This is not a perfect process, especially when people are starting out. Mm-hmm. They are not going to become an Olympic athlete overnight. Mm-hmm. It's part of the process of learning what your body can, what your body can't do, when you have to take care of your body and just say, well, I'm going to ease up today.
Yep.
I'm not going to do that mile or 2 mile because I overdid it. I did too much, and so I have to take some time off.
Right.
But it is important to listen to your body.
Yeah, it's even, I like to throw this example out there. Someone who maybe wants to run a marathon, that's their big goal. They're not going to run a marathon tomorrow. You got to start small, and there might be setbacks along the way. You might get hurt, or there might be a time where you go on vacation, or you just kind of need to step back for a little bit. That's completely normal. And again, yeah, it just doesn't happen overnight.
A lot of this is all fairly new, isn't it? I mean, years ago, I think people equated exercise with the athlete. That's where it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, obviously, we've seen that it's important for all people
Everybody.
to have some type of exercise in their lives.
Ages from basically a toddler all the way up until, the elderly population. It's good for everybody.
And there are so many different things people can do.
Yep, there's programs out there, there's professionals out there. Everyone that's willing to help you will certainly help you.
Well, thank you, Lauren, for keeping us all healthy and well. We appreciate what you do. And as you said to everybody, to our audience, eat well, exercise, drink a lot of water, and sleep well.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for being with us. This is Monsignor Rubino for LECOM Health Matters.